This conference will now be recorded.
So we are in topic modularization techniques. Yesterday we discussed different modularization techniques. We have seen one of the modularization technique using includes, and then we have seen how do we work with the subroutines. So any doubts from the previous session? And today's topic is very important, which is function module. What is the main difference between include, subroutine, and function module? So includes not self-executable, belongs to program type I. Subroutines are belongs to program type S. These two are not self-executable programs. So we cannot execute alone. If you create a include program, you cannot execute. If you create a subroutine, you cannot execute. Both are not self-executable programs. And what is the difference between include and subroutine? The main difference between include and subroutine is in subroutine, parameter interface is possible. So parameter interface is nothing but passing data between actual to formal parameters is called parameter interface. So what is mean by actual, what is mean by formal is, so whatever you created inside the subroutine program, those are called formal parameters. Whatever you created inside executable program are called actual parameter. And today we are going to talk about function modules. Function modules are belongs to function group, and you can say this program type F, and these are self-executable program. So main advantage with the function modules are these are self-executable. So you no need to create any external program of type executable and use inside that. Without executable program, you can execute your logic and you can check. These are self-executable programs. And one more advantage with the function module is exception handling is possible. Whereas with interfaces and subroutines, exception handling is not possible. So we will see what is mean by exception handling when we are talking about the function module in detail. So the main difference between include subroutine compare with the function module is include subroutines are not self-executable, whereas function modules are self-executable. In include subroutines, exception handling is not possible, whereas in function module, exception handling is possible. When you compare with includes and subroutine, what is the main difference is in includes parameter interface is not possible, whereas in subroutines, parameter interface is possible. So whatever is not possible in includes or subroutine, that is possible in function module. Whenever you open any SAP standard program, any program, definitely there will be a one function module. So widely used, one of the modularization technique in SAP is function module. So that's where function modules are very, very important. So today we will discuss more about this function module. So function module, as I said, which are self-executable and exception handling is possible, And mainly these function modules are used for two reasons. One is for improve the readability of the program, and second reason is to reuse the source code logic. For these two reasons, we will use this function modules concept. And we have different types in function modules. Whereas in includes and subroutine, we don't have a types. Those are straight away include a program and subroutine program. But whereas in function module, we have different types of function modules. So those are normal function modules and update function modules and remote enabled function module. So these are the three different types we have in function module. So first of all, what is a normal function module? So normal function module is nothing but if you create one function module in SAP ERP software component, then and you are using the function module inside SAP ERP application only, then that function module is called normal function module. So the creation of the function module and the usage of the function module in same server, then those function modules are called normal function modules. And function modules are created through transaction code SC37. And what about update function module? So update function module is nothing but whenever you have a requirements to update database, commit is required to commit your changes to the database during some process, then we will use update function module. So update function modules also will be used in the same application server. But the difference between normal or update is normal function modules are used for generalized source code logic, whereas update function modules are used specific to whenever you wanted to commit changes to the database during the update time. So you need to do some updates. At that moment, we will use this update function modules. And normal function modules will be called in a sequence, which means you have created a normal function module and this logic is required in a program. So for that program, what you will do is this function module you will call inside this program using a statement called call function. So call function is the keyword which we will use to call any function modules wherever it is required. Let's say there is a program. This program purpose is fetch sales information based on order type. So for this, you identified there is already one function module is available. So what you will do is instead of writing manual logic, you will call that function module because already logic is present. So how do you call the function module? By using the statement call function followed by maybe a function module created says gsales. So this is your function module name. So this function module you will call into your executable program and you will use it for your requirement. And this function module, let's say it is in first line in your program, main program. Then your ABAP interpreter will call this as a first line and it will execute the logic inside the function module. Let's say if it is a update function module. So we have another function module call function followed by a function module G sales update. This is another function module. So you are also using in the same program one function module to fetch the sales information and another function module to update the sales information. So this update function module, when it will be triggered is not after the first position. So once the syntax interpreter read the first statement, it will not read the second one. So what is that mean is, so you have written your program to fetch the sales information as well as commit the changes and update the sales information. So to update, you need to use commit. So commit is the one which will commit your changes to SAP database. So when this second function module will be triggered is whenever commit statement was hit by the system. So that means interpreter will come here and it will execute the first function module because this is normal function module. And second function module logic, it will not execute. What it will do is it will register this update function module into a update uh, update process. So there is in the backend there is a update process. So inside this update process, it will register your update call, saying that G sales update has to be triggered. It will register your function module. So after that, whenever commit work is triggered, so that time what its system will do is it will go inside of this update function module and then commit your changes to database. So which means normal function modules will be called directly, but update function modules logic will be called only when commit work which is triggered. So commit work is a database related operation. So whenever system trigger this commit work process, then only it will update changes to database. So for update function modules, commit work is required. So without commit work, update function modules will not trigger. That is what the intention of update function module. Remote enabled function modules means, so you have two different server. One is SAP ERP and another one is SAP CRM. So your company is using two different software applications. So one to deal with the internal business operation and to deal with the external business operation like pre-sales and post-sales. So they are using two different softwares. So now this CRM system, okay, it's like a customer support system. So after you sell your product, if product level any issues occurred, there will be a warranty period like 1 year or something, right? So during the warranty period, if customer wanted to claim a complaint, warranty or report any issue, first they'll contact the CRM support. So once they contact SAP CRM support, first they need the product related information, what customer purchased. That information is there in SAP ERP system. So here there is a need of get the information from one server to one application to another application. So whenever we have such kind of requirement, we will use remote enabled function models, RFC. Normally we say these are RFCs. What is the advantage of remote enabled function modules is actually these function modules are created in SAP ERP. Okay, let's say we have created a function module G get customer data. So this is a RFC function module created in SAP ERP system. This function module will get the customer details. So now you need customer details from SAP CRM. So then SAP CRM system, they will call this function module from SAP CRM by using call function followed by function module name. So they will use the function module name and they will write destination. So there is a keyword called destination. They will mention the destination from where they need data. So actually this function module was created in SAP ERP, but the calling is happening from SAP CRM system because SAP CRM system need customer details. So they will use the destination followed by the RFC connection name. RFC connection will be created by basis consultant. So the purpose of RFC function modules is, so once you create, you can call from any other different SAP systems by using destination edition. Actually, SAP CRM is not having the get customer data, but you can call it from SAP CRM so that when SAP CRM hit this function model, actually the function model will run in the destination server and it will get the data and it will pass information to SAP CRM system. So function module is one of the modularization technique which is used to reuse the source code and improve the readability of the source code. There are three different types. One is normal, update, and remote enabled. So you have a requirement in SAP ERP to do something. So you will create a function module and use inside the same application that is called normal function module. And when you do the update activity, like you are doing some commits to the database, at that moment you will go for the update. So update function modules will be triggered only after commit work statement hit by the data your system. Until unless whatever logic you have written, system will not execute. And remote enabled function modules will be created in SAP ERP, but execution will happen in different systems. So those are called remote enabled function modules. So we will see in detail like what is the normal function module, how we will create as well as update and remote enabled function modules in this function module concept. So I request you to ask me if you have any doubts in this function module, because in SAP ABAP programming language, so there are few very important topics. So if you are not comfortable, not understandable with the topics, then entire ABAP is very difficult for you to manage. So in those topics, function module is one of the key topic. So understanding and usage, how do we work with the function modules is very, very important, because ongoing most of the scenarios we will use function module. So if you are not sure how to work with the function module, then other topics will be like a help. It is very difficult to follow the other topics. So now we will see one SAP created function module first, and then we will go and create our purpose any other function modules. So let me log in into the SAP system to check any existing SAP created function module. As I said, anything in SAP, first of all, SAP is already created. We are just using the SAP created one, and sometimes when it is required only, we will be creating. So always any object, first go and observe how standard SAP has been created or designed. So the transaction code for function module is SE37. And if I go here, so reuse ALV grid display. So there is a function module called reuse ALV grid display. If you click on display, so you can see this is a function module. So the purpose of this function module, maybe we have documentation. Can we check? Yeah. So you can see there is a documentation which is available created by SAP. So you can read out and observe, understand what is the purpose of this function module. So I'll tell you what purpose this function module was designed is. So this function module is designed for reports purpose. So when we are in reports, you will understood. So normally what is mean by report is user need data from SAP database. So for that reason, we are going to create some reports so that user will see the data from the database. So once you see the data, so there are some normal requirements from the business. So if I go to any table like KNA1, so if user need data from the database, we will design a report. So report has input screen where he will enter input and execute so that he will get the data from the database. So once he have the data, user has a requirement like the data has to be displayed in a grid format and key fields will be identified in a different color. And in the top, he need some apps to do the any sum actions, or if you wanted to do sorting options. So if anything needs to be downloaded, he need a download option. So in reports, every user is saying that not only displaying the data. Along with that, I need all these things like whatever we discussed now, key fields in different color and a grid format or everything. So to achieve this all the requirement, we have to write the code. So what SAP has done is, it is a very big task for every developer to write each and every time this particular logic for every business user. So, and what they have done is, this is a common requirement for every user. So what they have done is, they have created one function model, name it as reuse ALV grid display. So what they are saying is, use this function model. For this function model, you just pass your structure and data. That's all. You no need to write any logic to differentiate the key fields, or you no need to write any logic to pass the information in a grid format, or you no need to write any logic to display this filter options or some options, or download to local file. So nothing. We no need to write any logic. Already that logic was written inside the function model. So we need to just pass our structure and data, so that this function model will take care. Inside function model, they build logic to display the data in that format. So this is a function model which is created for that purpose. So if you go to the attributes section, you can see a function model, who created and when it is created, and also you can see there is an option, release option. So you can see the released on so and so year. So what is mean by released is, so this is created by SAP and they have released. Released means now this function model is available to use. So if any function model where you are not able to see the released date, then it is not recommended you to use that function model, because that function model still SAP is working. So they are doing some changes. So it is not recommended to use unreleased function model. So always you have to go and check if you need any standard SAP function model for your requirement. Check whether the function model is released or not. Once it is released, then only use it. That is the meaning of released. And you can see the different types of function models: normal, remote enabled, update function model. So this function model is normal function model, which means this function model can be used inside the our only server in our SAP ERP application itself. And every function modules has import parameters, export parameters, changing tables, exceptions, and source code. Different tabs are there. So import is nothing but input to this function model. So to run any function model, we have to provide few inputs. So inputs will be provided under import tab, and export is nothing but, so this function model output is under export parameter. So import is the input to the function model, export is the output, and source code is the place where your inputs will be taken and the logic is built and output results will be passed. And changing and tables are nothing but, so if you wanted to create a internal table or work area, then you can use changing table, changing parameter. Changing parameter through you can create internal table or work area. But in tables, only you can create your internal table. Work area creation is not possible in tables. And exceptions, as I said, function model only exceptions is possible. In any other modularization techniques, exception is not possible. So exception is nothing but, there is a situation which is unpredictable and system may go to the state where it is unable to process your request. So in that situations, we will stop that behavior and throw exceptions. So I'll show you one example with what is exactly uh, going further. So hope this is clear. So function model is nothing but, which is one of the modularization technique. So using the function model advantage is, you can implement logic and that logic can be reused, and also we can modularize the source code in your main program, and function modules are self-executable. So you can directly execute function module. And one more advantage is exception handling is possible in function module. And how function modules will be called in any other programs is by using a statement called call function. So call function is the command uh, calling statement which is used to call any function into a any other program. If there is a program I want this function module to be called, then I'll use call function statement to call the function module. So we will create one function module now, and we'll see how to work with the function module directly in SE37 as well as through ABAP program. So first of all, what is the purpose of creating a function module? Why you are creating a function module? So my purpose is I wanted to perform arithmetic calculations. So to perform arithmetic calculations, previously what you have done, you created one executable program. In that program, you created all your data objects, N1 type I, N2 type I, and result. So this is your result, res type I. After creating the data object, what you have done, you have implemented logic, result equal to N1 plus N2. After that, you have used write statement to display the operation value. So this is your requirement to achieve. You have written a program inside SE38 executable program. So GARTH calculations something. So now if you observe this, if some other program, someone wanted to do some calculations like G customer data. So in customer data program, so they need this arithmetic calculations. So they wanted to perform by giving two values of the customer. So customer price information, they wanted to do the addition part. So when he wanted to perform again, he need to create the data objects and then write the logic inside that so that he can able to display the data, right? So same program he has to implement, same lines of code along with his requirement, he has to use the same program. So instead of that, so we need to write program always to reuse. So reusability means you need to write your logic. So this is called logic part. So logic part always will be reusable. So how we can make reusable the logic part is, so you need to create a function model and write this logic inside a function model. So for that reason, I'll be going to create a function model SE37. So this function model will do arithmetic additions. Okay. So inside the function model, what we have import. So import is nothing but inputs to the function model, and export. Export is output of the function model, and source code. Source code is a place where you will write your logic. So to perform arithmetic calculation, what I need? I need inputs N1, N2. These are my inputs. And to get the result operation, we need one more data object, that is res. So res will be given in export. And source code logic. So source code logic is the place where we will write result is the combination of N1 plus N2. Now this is your function model. You created function model and logic was kept inside of this function model. So now you can call this function model into your driver program. So now another person is creating a different program where he need arithmetic calculation. Then what he will do, he will not write entire logic like this in the first program. So simply he will call that function model, call function statement through, he will call ZARTH additions. So he'll call this function module. When he call the function module will be asking import, export and import. So export is nothing but a function module is asking to give the input value to this parameter. So export here is N1, N2. So N1 equal to and N2 equal to. So N1 value, N2 value, and import we have res. So result will come into here. So this person no need to uh, write logic inside his program because the logic is kept inside of function module. So now the logic, when you write a function module and kept your logic, then the logic is reusable. So wherever any person need arithmetic calculations, directly he can call this function module and he will pass inputs. So passing input means, so when you call the function module, there are two main things will happen. Like this function module will be displayed with export and import. Export is nothing but you need to provide inputs to this function module, and import is nothing but with your inputs, function module will perform source code logic operation and it will give you the result. So you need to provide the inputs to the function module. So input is, we are giving 6 and 4. When you give the inputs, what will happen is this function module, it will call this ARTH arithmetic operation, and then it will pass whatever the inputs you have given to input parameter, import parameter 6 and 4. So here if you observe, values we are passing from SE38. SE38 is a different transaction, and SE37 is a different transaction. So from SE38 external program, you are giving inputs. These inputs are going to inside of the function module as 6 and 4. After that, what will happen? This import values was taken by the source code and 6 and 4, and it will perform the sum operation and it give the result. So when the source code was given a value to the result output, so this result is nothing but your export parameter. So now export parameter has the result value, and this result value which is under import in external program. So whatever the value which we have in the result, that will be displayed into output. So in this example, what we have observed is we have not written our logic part whenever we need to perform arithmetic calculation in an external program. So advantage of this is any program need calculation of arithmetic, so they no need to write logic. Logic is hidden and logic is reusable. So this is the main advantage of function module. So for your understanding, I have given a very basic function module with the basic steps. But if you go to any function module, there are some complex logics will be there. So now we will create function module first to create the arithmetic calculations, and then we will execute in SE37 and see how the function module can work alone, and as well as we will call this function module into our driver program. And from the driver program, without writing the logic, how we can use that logic inside our driver program, SE38 program, we will see. So let me log in into the system. So transaction code to create function module is SE37. Execute SE37, and one more thing. So every function module will be stored in a function group. Function modules will be stored in a function group. So you need to create a function group before you creating the function module, because whenever you go and create a function module, system will ask you a function group. So function group is like a container for function modules. So how do we create function group is, function group will be created from SE80 transaction. Go to SE80 transaction and then click on repository information. I am not able to drag and drop. And then here choose function group and provide your function group name. I'm giving as test and click on display. So when you click on display, if already function group available, then it will say it is already available and it will show you the list of the function group details here. If it is not available, it will throw you a pop-up. This is does not exist. So you wanted to create, yeah, click on S to create. And this is a function group to store function modules. And now click on save as local object. So now you can see your function module was created, but initially the function module is in inactive status. So first you need to make this active. So right click, activate, continue. So now the function module is active and you can use this function module. And if you see inside the function module, there are two programs are created. One is top and another one is this main include. So you will slowly understood what is the advantage of this. But right now you have to remember, to create the function module, we need function group. Okay, so first we have function group. Now I am closing this and then create a function module. So GARTH underscore test. So or else calculation. So this is my function module. I am creating function module to perform arithmetic calculations. Click on create. So it was asking to provide the function group, provide the function group and maintains short description to perform arithmetic operations and save. Continue. Now save. So if you want to maintain documentation, you can click on documentation and then maintain what purpose you are creating this function module, how to use the function module. Because if you write something that could be understandable, next time anybody wants to see what purpose the function module was created, so they can read the documentation and they should understood. So if you want, you can write here and save, check, activate. If not, you can ignore it and then go create your function module with the other remaining steps. If you go to the attributes tab, you can see what type of function module. So I am creating a normal function module. And import is input to the function module. So to perform arithmetic calculations, I have to provide the inputs, right? So N1 type, associated type, here you have to provide the data type I. For this also, type followed by data type I. Enter. And then go to the export tab. Export is output. So output is RES. I'm giving as RES. And type is also integer. Enter. So now save. So far what we have done, we have given inputs to perform arithmetic calculations, and once calculation is completed, to hold the result value, we created one more data object, res. And then go to the source code tab. So when you go to the source code tab, you can see whatever you created in the import, which are displayed here, whatever you created in the export, which are displayed here. And N1, N2 are the inputs and the rest is the output. So output, this is the logic, what we are writing. N1 plus N2, we are giving to the rest. Now save, check, activate. So source code also completed. If you wanted to test this function module, you can directly execute. So when you execute, it was saying that you need to provide the inputs to this function module. So I'm giving input and execute. So when you execute, you can see in their export, which is nothing but output. So output, it is coming as 6 plus 10 because the logic we have written as addition. So 6 plus 10, that is 16. So function module directly you can execute and see the result. And as well as wherever it is required, the function module you can call and use. Now we have created function module with a basic operation of addition. Now I will use this function module in my program. Go to any SE38 and create a program, function module test. So click on create. So calling function module from outside. And type is executable. Save as local object. So now in this program, I wanted to perform arithmetic calculations. So if I wanted to perform arithmetic calculation, previously I used to write the data N1 type by N2 type by like that, right? So now I will not write the logic part here. So logic part already there in a function module. So I'll call that function module. Now go to the pattern. So here, enter your function module name where the logic part is exist and click on continue. So now you can see N1, N2 are coming without comments, but rest is coming inside the comment. So why it is coming like that? If you go to the function module, so in the import tab, you can see N1, N2 and optional. So there is a checkbox called optional. So if it is maintained under optional, then only it will come as a commented lines. Because we have not maintained, that means it is a mandatory. Input is mandatory. But when you go to the export, you can see this value result. The result is we don't have any optional or mandatory. So the result is always depends on your logic. So that's why this is optional. So if you want, you can see the data, otherwise also fine. If you don't want to see the data, there is no issue. But to call this function module, you need to definitely pass inputs. And let me uncomment this because I need output also. So if I pass value here 6 plus 10, and I'll be getting 6 plus 10 value will be moved from here to inside of the function module, and source code logic will perform and it will give the value to res. But I need to capture this value to my program, right? So for that I need to create one more data object. So this data object I need to create lv res type I, and you can use write statement, write lv underscore res. So now save, ready print, check, activate. So if you execute, you will get result. Where is the logic part? Addition part, it is inside of the function module. So logic is reusable. So wherever you need this addition logic, you can call this function module. So now if I place breakpoint here to show you how it is working, execute. So now your main program is calling this function module to perform arithmetic calculation and giving inputs as 6 and 10. So here two things you can observe. Exporting and importing values will be changed when you go inside of the function module. Inside the function module, N1 and N2 are importing, rest is exporting. But outside the function module, N1 and N2 are under exporting, rest is in importing. So how you have to read this is, so from the function, from the program, you are exporting inputs and importing result from the function module. But when you go inside of the function module, click F5, then it will take inside of the function module. So from the function module perspective, function module is importing inputs from the driver program and performing the source code logic, and the result it is exporting to the result parameter. So the terminology will be different when you are talking from the program, when you are talking from the function module. So F5. Now you can see N1, N2, we are passing from external program and result is performed 6 plus 10 equal to 16. Now where is the output of the uh, value 16 is in export parameter of the function module. So F5. So right now the value is in export parameters. To capture this at the same data type, we have to create one more data object, because to capture the function module input. So for that reason, we created another data object to get the output of the result. So then when you use the write statement, it is displaying the data output. So what we observed and learned today is, we have seen what is the function module, how do we create a function module, what type of function modules we have, and how to work with the function module with basic operation, what is import and export and source code operation. And once we created the function module, how we can test the function module alone, as well as if we created a function module as part of the modularization technique, it says like source code will be reusable, right? So how the function module will be reusable. So we created one driver program. Inside the driver program, we call this function module, and we haven't written any logic here in the main program. So the logic inside the function module is reused, and how we can reuse that logic, that we have seen today. So you can go and use the same example and then create and observe how it is performing the function module, and how you are able to call inside the outside the program. As well as, if it is possible, right now I have implemented only for addition operation, you can extend this program to make subtraction, multiplication and division. And also inside the external from the external program, don't pass hard coded value, make it a dynamic. So dynamic means create a input selection screen with parameters, and from the parameters enter the value, so that parameter inputs give to the function module, and then try to perform dynamically instead of hard coded values. So any doubts today? If no questions, we can wind up for today. Thank you.